thought this was great too, because we got the track coach in the room, right? So I'm like, you know, we are right on today, okay? It was a day like the rest, me sitting right there with the lost kids in another special class where I could fit the round pegs into square holes all day. As teachers excuse, we were just born this way. There's no need to be worried, no reason for stress. Your poor lives are not fair, so you just do your best. These last words they'd sing as they settled us down to pass glue and round scissors for our popsicle stick crowns. And while crafting a band for my popsicle crown, I reached a hand into pocket and guess what I found? It was a note from my mother. Again, like last week, a reminder things don't have to stay as we see. Written big in block letters, more easily read. It still took me a while, but here's what that note said. I will always love you as the first day you were mine, but to change in their eyes, you must first change your mind. If you want new results, you can't act the same way as your needs. If you want new results, you can accept what they say about your needs that make them think this box is okay. Put an eagle with chicks does not mean he's to blame, but he must one day fly, son, or he fails just the same. So keep your minds on your dreams and your eyes on that door. The inevitable victory can still be yours. To raise you up high, any risk I would take, but you, my dear boy, you must plan this escape. Not sure at what meaning the last line inferred, I returned to my crown with not much of a word. There I sat in the days of the work I'd been working. Didn't notice strange sounds like free birds that were chirping. The next minute there I spent disbelieving. No way could I see what my eyes were perceiving. A window just appeared, but there had been none before among these walls and locks, this peephole and door. From where this thing came, I didn't bother to guess, but bright light, cool breeze soon captured my breath. And right outside the window, I heard sounds unknown, people cheering and laughing and loud microphones. My teachers made one big mistake on that day. When someone opened the window, they long hid away. As they hurried and scurried and scrambled about, doing all that they could to block the scene out, trying their best to reseal the nice box we were in. I picked my note off the ground and grinned my big grin. I heard announcers announcing on loudspeakers speaking, welcoming the champions that came from last weekend. He said, today is today, and last week was back then. On a day like this, folks, anyone could still win. As I think back, I know they did not mean for me to take those words and excitement so personally. But there's no control over words that we say. Once out of the mouth, they translate their own way. Every ear that can hear must interpret for self. So I hustled and scurried right up on the shelf. And I slipped past the teachers and over the pane of the window before they could close it again. And I shimmied down columns just right for escaping and rushed myself over where people were pacing. I arrived at the field, was amazed by the scene of the runners and jumpers and all types of teams. They were stretching and reaching after preparing for months to take the first challenge and clear the high jump. Like antelope they leaped. None knew fear or seemed hopeless, so I slid right in line, praying no one would notice. But someone did see through my thin-veiled disguise. Maybe it was the boots or the scared look in my eyes. I begged, I'll do my best, sir. This looks like a blast, not like making those crowns from old popsicle trash. As the judges hemmed and then hawed, they explained the plain truth. Your training, your build are not for this pursuit. They continued this line as the stars started starting, but from up in the bleachers, big voices started barking. Maybe he's lightning, just been bottled too long. You might think he's weak, but what if he is strong? Nobody has ever tried hard as he tried, and even if he falls down, he most likely won't die. From what I can guess were new friends of mine and my mother, who must have been there the whole time, came demands I be given one shot at the bar, despite having no chance to show talent thus far. So they made me some room and they let me back in, knowing there was no chance I could actually win. Then the time came when I was finally on at the line with the silence so deafeningly strong. In good humor they played, started lowering the bar for this unknown and untested, not right superstar. But I whispered and waved, now you put that right back. I can't break your record with a low jump like that. So rolling their eyes and with fiendish sly grins, you know, they quick raised my bar all the way up to 10. As they smiled and high-fived, I heard one of them say, "Do you think that boy's bright enough to just go away?" But they all seemed surprised. As in hiking boots clumping, I dashed for the mark they had set for my jumping. And with vision so clear I could hardly see through it, I leapt for the bar as if nothing was to it. There I floated, no, sailed, as the whole crowd stopped breathing, watching me attempt what they were not quite believing. Well, I didn't quite get over it. More truthful to say, see, I barely made half of the distance that day. But no sooner flat on the mat, I was pumping my fist, reminding this crowd I was quite new to this. But what they could not have known from the smile on my face was that 5 feet had crushed my personal best to that day. It was 2 feet higher than the mark in 3rd grade where they started to track me and how I behaved. It was 4 feet higher than in middle school buzzing. They said, "Soon you'll be dead or in jail like your cousins." This mark was the highest that had ever been set. And after trying, I knew I was not quite done yet. So I stopped my odd dancing just in time to report there were people lining up for some other great sport. But before I could make it to the next crowded line, I was boxed and closed in by some old friends of mine. They were sent to track down the lost boy from room 8 for a quiet return to his class, to his place. And once back there, they tried to downplay the whole scene, suggesting that life for me would be just a pipe dream. There are round pegs in your future. These square holes must be filled. It's good work for the hands and your particular skills. And I sat there a while, thinking maybe it's best that they saved me and brought me safe back to this desk. So I looked and took note of all the names I could see of the kids that had rescued and returned before me. There was Carlos and Derek, John Tilson's name twice, Rashida, Raymundo, and my long-lost friend Mike. So many more names here I did not recognize, including one signed A. Lincoln, here since 1825. And in the top right-hand corner, between all of those lines, there was just enough space left to finally make this seat mine. But before eyes could dim back to that early blank state, I heard the words again echoed from the stands at that race where my mother stood shouting and waving banners sky high. "So what if you fall down, boy? You most likely won't die." Then a strange courage took hold, swept right over me. I grabbed a handful of crayons and some big butcher sheets, then started to draft plans I had long feared to speak. I said march for 1 hour, 1 day, and 1 week. And with those popsicle sticks, I started to build up a small room. When complete was a full replica of this box, where some said I would live my life out, where none would see my lost face and hear my mad shouts. Then I placed in this model where the brave lookers could see one red X on the wall, where that Mendel must still be. And then glancing around like I had not done before, I spied keys to the locks on the chain by the door. And since all teachers were busy passing glitter and paste, I just left them a note on that desk, gone to find my next